Welcome. First of all, I want to say thank you for your time. I really appreciate you all and any support that you show me in any which way, shape, or form that you show me that support. If you are happening upon this video without seeing any of the previous videos, what's going on here is we're doing a Nosphere grid challenge. And I kind of made a mistake yesterday. I mean, it's not like a grievous error. It was just me kind of being an idiot. I came back to Besaid to get Aaron's overdrive, but I couldn't find it. Couldn't find it. And I am pretty confident that I just came back too early. And so now, and I'm probably going the wrong way again here, am I not? I feel like I am. Like going downhill towards town? Yes, I am. I'm a moron. So I came back here to go get a sphere so I could learn an overdrive of Arin's, because later on, if I try to come back here, I'm going to have to fight a monster that I won't be able to beat. So I was like, just go back there now, because we have our weapon and we're, ready to kick ass and all that fun stuff. But then I, got here and I couldn't find it. And thinking more on it, I am pretty confident that the reason it's not there is because we haven't fought Spheromorph yet. And Spheromorph is the monster that you have to beat to get the first Eject Sphere. You also get your first level 2 Lock Sphere, which, I mean, will be useful to us in the sense that we can put piercing on weapons for people that don't typically have piercing. So that'll be nice. But anyhow, I couldn't find that sphere. And being that I have not gotten the Eject Sphere from beating Spheromorph, I'm pretty confident that that's why it's not here yet. So it was an oversight on my part. So now I have to decide, am I gonna go all the way to the end of Macalania Woods and then make the trek all the way back here again to get that, or not? And the answer, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you all, is probably yes. Because, well, first of all, I don't even remember which overdrive it is. Because I've only gotten it once. Throughout all my playthroughs, well, I shouldn't say that. I've gotten it after beating Dark Valfor, but I've only got it once without beating Dark Valfor. And it was an oversight on my part. I was thinking that once you got... I guess I wasn't thinking is the problem. I wasn't thinking. I just was like, okay, well, if I can go back through Mushroom Rock, then I should be able to get it, is what I was thinking. And I figured if I couldn't get it, they wouldn't let me through Mushroom Rock. That was my logic, and it was seemingly a flawed logic. So we're just going to go with that. It would make the most sense that I couldn't get it until after I beat Sphere Morph and get that first Eject Sphere. That would make the most sense. But I didn't think about it. I just didn't think about it. And it's not going to be all for naught. I mean, it doesn't take that long because there's no cutscenes, you know? So you can just kind of fly through the area. And we have a Petrify weapon for Waka. So, I mean, we can carve battles up pretty quickly against the vast majority of the monsters that we'll encounter will win in one shot, you know. Waka will just one shot just about everything for a long time now. So, you know, and Rikku gets a chance to steal items while we are, you know, traveling the world. So it's not like it's all bad. And I knew that this playthrough was going to be a labor-intensive playthrough. There just wasn't any way around it because we have no access to the sphere grid, which means we can't level our players up at all. So that means the only way we can get stronger is basically through gear. And well, and Rikku. Riku's pretty badass. She's the key to all of this. Now, I don't really think I'm going to get any celestial weapons. Oh, man, while I'm here, let me go into Kilka Woods real quick and see, you know, so there are bees in Kilka Woods, and I'm pretty sure that Poison Fang is a rare drop or a rare steal item from them. But if it's a common steal, I want to farm that shit. If it's a rare steal, it's not really worth it. And I'm not 100% sure where, like, it's most likely to encounter. What the hell does that even mean? Void? No, that's not Void. I don't know. Are all the letters legible? Or at the bottom, just one word? Just one word. Whisper. W-I-S-E-E-R. V-O-I-E-E-S. Voices. I don't know what that means. Honestly, I don't have any idea. What the hell are these things anyway? You know, you see them all over the place. I know they're all bed stuff, but I don't know. Alright, let's see what we got here now. Yeah, so they're just gonna be a rare steal, so...
Man, blows can't hurt it, huh?
Yeah. So it is a rare. I wonder what the first, probably the Calmlands. First area where you can get Poison Fangs is a common steel. Ow! I wonder what the hell that means there. Like, what is that? What does it mean? Let's see here. Well, let's. It's just the bottom is one. Would that possibly be? I can't even one word that could be the caps at the bottom. Voice. VOIC. Voice. If they're interchangeable, voice. VOICE. So then you would be there. Power. POWERS. And then what's left over? POWERS be a T and F. A T and S. Uh, uh, T I We're, I don't know. I can't figure it out. No idea. Is there like another? Is there another one of these things around here that would be like more useful? And even if you do figure it out, what good does it do to you? Like, does it tell you where to go?
Enough. No time to waste. Let's go.
I don't know. I think I'm just wasting my time here.
Woohoo!
Usually there's some, it's like some kind of warning or something. The last one, Besaid said like, Besaid and Kilka Now's one. Or something.
Piece of cake.
Don't have any idea. But it's not like a puzzle. Move the letters around and then I get a prize. I don't know. I found out what I wanted to know anyway, which was that poison thing is not a common steel. Luca. And then from Luca, we're at the high road. So it doesn't really, honestly, it doesn't take that long. Plus, you get to ride a chocobo. And actually, now that the gate is open, I might be able to ride a chocobo all the freaking way to, I don't know, we'll see. If you can ride a chocobo the whole way, then dude, like, that's huge. Then it wouldn't take very long at all. But I'm not going to hold my breath on the chocobo ride. I will consider myself extremely fortunate if I can ride a chocobo past... let's see here. Well, I guess the spot that you normally would have not been allowed to ride a chocobo past, which would have been the gate to Mushroom Rock Road. Dude, look at this guy. Dude. What are you a sumo or what, dude? You know, this whole, I mean, it's getting really, really out of hand, man. Like, people are morbidly obese in this country, in the United States, maybe around the world, but in America, like, dude, it is so bad. And unless people stop eating trash and getting more exercise, it's not going to get any better before it gets, I mean, it's going to get worse before it gets any better. I mean, you look at the kids, right? The youth. When I was a kid, now granted, we had video games, right? Like, you know, 1985 Nintendo, right? And some people had an Atari, you know, when I was real little. But, you know, they weren't the same thing. I still remember the first time I ever saw a Nintendo. My friend had one. I was over there. I feel like it was winter time, so maybe he got it for Christmas or something. I don't know. But I would have been like probably like 3rd grade. 2nd grade, 3rd grade. I don't know. I don't remember. But I remember seeing my friend play Mario, the first original Mario, and I was in awe of it. I mean, I fell in love with Nintendo. I was a loyal Nintendo guy for many years. I had an NES, SNES, N64, but I never got a GameCube, and I haven't bought a Nintendo product since the N64. But from NES through N64, which basically, you know, brought me into adulthood. I mean, I was... Well, let's see. I didn't buy an Xbox until I was probably like 22 or 23 years old. I bought it for Halo. So, like, maybe even 24. I don't know for sure. Probably not. Nah, probably earlier than that. But my friend... Okay, so at the time, I had like a apartment that was kind of viewed as like the clubhouse. So lots of people came over to my house and hang out and partied and just whatever, right? So this one guy who, looking back on it, his parents must have been pretty wealthy, but he had a PlayStation 2 and an Xbox, an OG Xbox. And he brought them over to my house, and they stayed at my house for like a year. This is just the way it was. He just left him there at my house for a year. So that's what I played this game originally. It was his game on his PlayStation. And I don't know, a year later, he took his games home. I think actually what had happened was he really, really liked this girl. And I think one of my roommates my roommate at the time, I only had one roommate, but my roommate at the time kind of cuckolded this girl. I don't know, it's not fair to say that, because I don't think that they were like a couple or anything like that. But anyway, the guy who cuckolded the girl, if you will, he's actually the same guy who had the Nintendo, okay? See, that's what I was concerned about, that I would lose my Chocobo right here. Sadly, I do. Now, this is the dangerous spot here, because we can run into that 2 dual horn dragon battle formation, which could technically wipe us out. So I need to be, hope that... Let's heal up here. Anyway, I shouldn't say cuckold, because I don't think they were a couple or anything, but he definitely had a crush on this girl, and I think she was pretty, knowledgeable about his feelings and this, that, and the other. Well, here comes that garbage formation, and we can probably die here. Who's number A? So he's A, and he's B, and he's C. So each dual horn gets to go. Warren would survive. Waka will probably survive unless they both attack him. Riku's probably done for. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna steal from you. Alright, so Riku's... Oh, she survived. Well, not anymore. But that's actually not that bad of a deal. Now we're pretty much guaranteed to not die. So anyway, I think that's what brought about him taking his Xbox and his PS2 home, was that my roommate had kind of, I guess, won the girl, if you will. And so, he probably was less... He was probably, less enthusiastic about
An easy win, yeah?
been coming over there as often as he had been before. So he took his Xbox and his PlayStation home, and so then all I was left with was my Nintendo stuff, which was kind of outdated. Now, granted, I still played a lot of stuff on N64. There were a handful of really, really good games on there, but once you get used to playing like Halo and stuff, it kind of going back to GoldenEye wasn't quite as good. So I ended up being like, well, I got to pick one. Am I going to buy an Xbox or am I going to buy a PlayStation? Getting a Nintendo was not even considered at the time. So I went with the Xbox mainly because of Halo. I don't regret it at all. I mean, they're both fine systems. I think Xbox does a lot of things better than PlayStation. I think PlayStation does some things better than Xbox. Um, the real difference in the two systems is oh, what would you say? Like console specific games. There's a term to describe what I'm trying to say, but I can't. Oh, exclusive, console exclusive games. Like for example, Halo is a Microsoft exclusive, and it was until just very recently a Xbox exclusive. But since Microsoft, you know, whatever, you can play it on computers now. And Halo's definitely one of my favorite franchises. It always sucked that after Sony kind of wrestled Final Fantasy, or they lured Square away from Nintendo. Ever since that happened, you know, I've kind of been out in the cold when it came to Final Fantasy. The first Final Fantasy game that I believe was released on an Xbox. I'm not sure about Nintendo, but after Final Fantasy VI, I don't know that Nintendo got anything for a long time either, but Final Fantasy 13 was the first one that got released on Nintendo, and it was on Xbox. That was Xbox 360. And so for me, that was a pretty big deal. That was the first Final Fantasy game I was able to play on my, you know, my Xbox. So that probably made me like the game more. But I really do like the battle system in that game. The characters do kind of suck. The story is not that good. But the battle system is really, really fantastic. One of the better... I mean, that's a really good battle system. It's an outstanding battle system. You have to really be on your toes. It's definitely not a casual experience. You have to be extremely engaged. And I think after Final Fantasy XII, where you kind of just... Once you build everything, once you unlock all the gambits, and you kind of... I mean, you're just kind of walking around at that point. You don't do anything. And so 13, I think, was kind of a response to 12, where, okay, well, let's get back to being engaged in the game again. And I mean, these games, they have their own place. I got nothing against 12. I think 12 is a fantastic game. But after you get done playing 12, it was nice to kind of jump into something that was a little more engaging, a little more high energy type game. As opposed to 12, which was just kind of... I guess I want to play a low-level game on 12, but I'm not comfortable doing that at this point because I've only played the game through one time, and I got too overpowered. I mean, I wasn't trying to, it just happened. So what I was doing when I played that game, 12, is that I was doing the hunts, okay? And the hunts are more advanced than the storyline. So as you unlock hunts, you're unlocking things that are, you know, more difficult to beat than the storyline at that same spot in the game. And I didn't think too much about that. There's this area that's like kind of like a forest, kind of up in the, you're walking along like on a wooden plank pathway that goes through like the treetops, kind of, it feels like. And there is a bomb fight that's kind of a gatekeeper. And I found a way to beat that bomb when probably I shouldn't have been able to win. But I kind of got lucky, and I developed... I fought it a bunch of times, right? I was like, I know I can beat this thing. And, like, I couldn't. I kept on losing over and over again. But I was like, well, why? I should be able to win. Like, I get down to the end, and then he would do this move that would bring his health back. So I was like, okay, well... So what I ended up doing was I ended up using a party that was not my best party because somebody, I think it was Penelope, I don't know, the girl that is friends with Van. So I probably built my characters kind of dumb in that game. I don't even remember what I did. It actually ended up working out really, really, really well in the end. Whatever that, the woman who is like royalty or whatever, I don't remember what her name is, but I made her a white mage and a, I don't remember what her other job was, but she was so awesome, dude. I mean, she was just absolutely, she was so good. It's just out of this world good. And then Penelope, or whatever her name is, the girl who's friends with Van, she was the only one that knew haste. So I hadn't really, well, and I had gotten haste. Maybe, I don't know if I got it earlier than I was supposed to or not. But what ended up happening was I ended up using the 3 girls for that fight, which they were definitely not my best party. But combined, their abilities were, because Fran, she was the archer. I know that she was the archer. And I don't remember what her other ability was, or her other job class. But, and I know that the royalty woman was a white mage or a healer, and then I don't remember what her other job was. She had a mace, but that might have been the same job class from her healer. Maybe not, though. She had a mace and a shield. I remember that. She was freaking awesome, dude. And Penelope, or whatever her name is, she had the crossbow and she had haste. She was the time mage. So she was a time mage, and then she was whatever class has a crossbow, which I don't think is a time mage, but anyway. And Fran had a bow, and then I don't remember what her other class was, or her other job was. But anyway, the 3 of those women combined, I was able to, it's so weird because I shouldn't have been able to beat that fight with that group. But I don't know if it was like, I think what I was able to do is slow the boss and haste my party and use some kind of like boosting abilities so that like Fran was doing more damage than she normally would do, like some kind of like precision thing. I don't remember. I really don't remember. But I was able to scuzz out that end, so like he wasn't able to bring him, because the problem was that once you got him down to a certain amount of health, he would just heal himself to full. And what I was able to do was to at the end, when it was going to get really close there, and he was gonna use his move, I did something with those 3 women, and I killed the son of a bitch. Well, I wasn't supposed to get past there. I shouldn't have been able to beat that guy at that spot in the game with the teams that I had and the level that I was in. But once I got past there, that gave me access to stuff I shouldn't have had access to. And when I first got this, so there's a dungeon at the end of that pathway that that has all this like end game stuff in it. Now I couldn't get in from that side. I tried and I got slaughtered. In fact, what's his name? The guy who's like the fighter. I don't remember what his name is. Anyway, he's like a knight. He's at the very, his brother is like the bad guy. Anyway, that guy, like, there's like a cutscene. It's like, this is a fool's errand to try and go in here, and he was right because I got slaughtered. But I wasn't able to get into that I mean, I could get into the dungeon, but I couldn't win that fight. I couldn't get out of the first room. But the area prior to that dungeon, I was able to like get stuff I shouldn't have had yet. And then that super late end dungeon where you get all that cool stuff. I don't remember what you get there, but it's like super awesome stuff. Uh-oh, I don't like this at all. I could get my party wiped out here, I think. Let's... Man, if only I had all bed potions, that would be awesome. Let's do this. It'll increase my odds. Rikku probably dies here, but... There she goes. But now we should... Yeah, there we go. Now we can stabilize things. So anyway, after I won that fight, that kind of turned the tide for me. And I was able to... get a few items that I shouldn't have yet, and then what I did after that was I don't remember the name of the place, but there's like a town that's kind of like at the base of a mountain, and then if you go up the path, you start going up the way up the mountain, and if you go off this like kind of off to the left there as you're climbing up the mountain, you go to this like desert area, and at the end of that desert area is like a body of water. That across that body of water is an early part of the game, like where you first come out of the sewers or whatever. So I wasn't supposed to be able to be there, but I was able to sneak my way in there, and I got some stuff there. And then, and I'm not doing this in order here. I don't remember the order that I did it. But I kept on encountering this, like, sandstorm shit that I couldn't get through. But this one area, when you're going through, like, some kind of huge desert, like, sea desert place, you know, every time you go like down below, all of a sudden there's like way stronger monsters and stuff. Well, I was kind of able to sneak my way through there, and then there's a boss down there that I shouldn't have been able to beat. And there's like all these undead like zombie things trying to kill you while you're fighting. I think it's like a lightning monster. Anyway, I developed a strategy that allowed me to steal a win from that guy, and that changed things in my favor. I mean, I just kind of was like, just, you know, stealing victories against shit that I shouldn't have even been bothering with. Because I like giving myself these random challenges. The ironic part about beating that boss down there, the lightning boss guy, after I beat him and I kept on following the path out, dude, I got into this, I couldn't beat the room that led to him on the other side. I couldn't stay alive for like 5 seconds against the monsters in that room. They just completely and totally obliterated me. So I think I got in from the back side, and the guys that were supposed to guard his room, I couldn't beat them. I could not beat them at all. Like, I tried a couple different times, and I was like, no freaking way, man. I can't even get through here. So, I don't know. I don't remember how I got out of there. But I did come back there way later and finish off that room down there, the one I couldn't beat. But they do this move. I think it's called Curse. I don't remember 100%. Boy, oh boy, I'm. Oh man, I am so lucky. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't heal myself. I'm lucky that we are not dead right now. Tooting my own horn about Final Fantasy 12, dumbass. Alright, so lightning guy will heal us. We'll bring him in. So anyway, the point that I was trying to make is I was beating stuff that I shouldn't have been even fighting. And then as a result, I was getting way too strong. So then once I got back to going along with the storyline, I was just carving everything up and it got really boring. So it was kind of like super anticlimactic, and I regret having going out of order as much as I did, because it kind of ruined the game. But it was super fun and I really enjoyed the game, and I'd like to do a low-level game, but I've only played through it once. I'd like to play through it again with more of like a, how do I say, a lower, not a low level, but like, you know, an approach where I purposely don't get too strong. And then, you know, after I become a little bit more comfortable with the mechanics of the game and how everything goes, then, you know, maybe at that point I would consider like a low-level type thing. But I would want to have played through the game a number of times before I would attempt something like this No Sphere Grid game, for example. I mean, I played through this game, I don't know, well, fewer than a dozen times, but probably more than half a dozen. Probably right around like 6 to 8 times, I suppose. I would say, would be fair. I guess I don't really know how many times. I never. There's the first time I played like 20 some years ago, and then I played through on the PlayStation on an emulator, like probably 2 different times, maybe 3 different times. And then on the Xbox now, I guess this would probably be my 4th playthrough. So I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 7 or 8 times, I guess. Something like that. Counting this run. But it's fresh in my mind because I just did that Lulu as the main and then Waka as the main playthroughs. So, you know, the game is fresh in my mind. You know, if it's too long or too much time in between playthroughs, you know, you just forget stuff. You're not going to be as sharp. There you go. You may not be able to kill them, but he can put them to sleep. Or he may not be able to kill them in one shot, but he can put them to sleep while I work on everybody else. And then we'll come back to him later. Wow, that's like massive damage for RN for that kind of monster.
Yeah. I'm on a roll.
I don't think Waka has failed to petrify a monster susceptible to petrify yet. And I credit that in large part due to the fact that that weapon has not only Stone Strike, but also Stone Touch. which does improve our odds. That was what a find that was. I mean, how lucky is that? To get that drop on the very last... That's just so awesome. I guess you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, what am I doing? You know, normally you think water, fire, but no, it's ice, fire. And why is it called Blizzard instead of Ice? I don't know, maybe they think Blizzard sounds more cool. I mean, to me, Blizzard should be like a level 2 spell, maybe. That's probably from 7th Saga, though. I think that Blizzard was a multi-target ice elemental that Isuna could use. But her best attack, because it only cost, I think, 3 magic, was Ice 1, which was just a fantastic, just absolutely fantastic ability. Silver Hourglass, baby. Oh, come on. You need to give her a weapon that has some kind of magic boost, because we're not even fighting strong stuff yet. And so she needs to be one-shotting stuff like that. Because what's going to happen when she has to fight stuff that's like got level 2 magic coming at her, you know? Like, that's going to be a problem. I mean, look, dude, we're attacking something that's weak to the... I mean, we're using elemental weaknesses. She's hitting for like almost 400, and that's not killing the son of a bitch. I'm not pleased. That's kind of what I was hoping for. Anybody but Lulu, I wanted to get a steal from him before I killed him. I still haven't got a bomb core yet.
Victory for now.
The hell does she even have for a weapon? We gotta take a look and see what she's got equipped. I don't like this. I don't like that one bit. The game just tried to screw me right there. And I'm kind of surprised that that didn't fail to kill him. And that he put us to sleep, and then him and his little butt buddy there flame us to death. All right. All right. What do you got on, babe? A nothingness. Stop it. That's why, if she had any kind of plus anything.
Yeah.
My cat's starting shit with me. I don't know what his deal is. Maybe I need to clean his litter box out or something. He has his own bathroom. So downstairs there's a bathroom, and I just leave the shower fan on all the time, and his litter box is just in that bathroom, and I leave the door cracked so he can come in and out of it, but there's always air being vented to the outside, and I try to go down there every few days and empty it out for him, but maybe it's been longer than I remember. Alright, I don't really want to fight these guys. This is one of the battles where it's better to not really have Waka in, because he doesn't do much for me. This is what's best. Come on, that's 3 failed attempts against you. Come on! I'm just gonna, if I should be okay. Alright. I try to remember to empty his litter box after I get home from work because, you know, I'm going to take a shower when I get done after work. And so, you know, I want to like clean that nasty ass toilet of his up before I take my shower. But if I take my shower, then I don't want to clean that shit, man. That's just nasty. Then I'll just be like, well, I'll wait until tomorrow when I get off of work. And it's not like it's just like a tiny little box. He's got a huge, it's like a tote almost. Well, it's like a shallow tote is what it is. It's a shallow tote. So it's a pretty big litter box with, I don't know, let's see, what is it, a 40-pound box that I buy? So he's probably got like 15 to 20 pounds of litter in that box. It's a big ass litter box, so he's got plenty of room in there. So it's not like, you know, he's got this little tiny, little, you know, ice cream bucket size toilet to use that has to be emptied twice a day or something.
Farewell.
Wow, he kills a flying creature?
No
That
time to
is
waste.
uncommon.
Let's go.
No time to waste. What are you talking about, old man? Slow down. There's no need for, you know, don't be hasty. That's good advice for anyone. Just don't be hasty. The hobbits had that right, you know, the whole don't be hasty thing. They were dead on, spot on about the don't be hasty business. That's one thing that culture in the United States has really just needs to correct. Everybody's just run, and dude, that shit burns you out, man. I feel so bad for people that work like at like someplace like Arby's or something like that. I went into Arby's the other day. I don't often go to Arby's. It's just not very good food. But I did go in there. I wanted a Reuben. And it was on my way home. And so I was like, well, let's go stop at Arby's and get a, you know, less than mediocre Reuben. Oh, yeah, that sounds like an acceptable situation at the time. So I went and I got a less than mediocre Reuben. Actually, it wasn't that bad. It's just that there was like hardly any sauerkraut, and I'm not sure exactly how, you know, how good that corned beef was, but it, you know, I wasn't sitting on the toilet the whole rest of the day the next night after eating it, so, you know, I guess it wasn't as bad as it could have been. You never really know when you go to a place like Arby's what's going to happen. It's definitely less than ideal food, but I was probably in a hurry. I probably didn't feel like making something to eat, and it was on the way home, so I was like, let's roll the dice. And then, you know, I remembered that I had ordered once before. I did have the foresight this time to get the sauce on the side. That was definitely a key move there. Definitely want to get the sauce on the side. I would say with all Reubens, honestly, because You never know what they're gonna put on there. You know, typically it's some kind of Thousand Island-esque sauce, but honestly, not all Thousand Island is created equally, man. There's some Thousand Island that's pretty solid, and then there's other Thousand Island that's just vile and disgusting. Usually when I go out to eat, I'll have a salad with my meal. And I mean, if they have some like, you know, some like real nice kind of dressings, I might go for something that's atypical, but most places will have like Thousand Island or French or Western dressing or something like that. So what I have learned over time is that I'll order some Thousand on the side and some French on the side, and usually one of them is not too bad. And every now and again, one of them is really good, but you know, you're really running the dice, you know. Unless it's a place that you're, you know, that you're familiar and you're sure, you know what they have. It's a roll of the dice, but usually one of, you know, it's pretty rare that both the French and the Thousand are just total shit. So we brought Una in there to try the escape because she's stone-proof. She's got stone-proof on it. Or she sure as hell better. Oh man, what a moron. Oh, I didn't even have stone-proof on. What an idiot am I. Oh man, I could have just killed myself there. I like some ranch dressing. Not usually on salad though, you know? Like if I'm gonna have like a grease bomb meal, like a Superbird from Denny's, for example, like that's a grease bomb. I mean, if it's made proper, it's actually not that bad. It's actually pretty good if it's made proper, but it's probably not made proper most of the time. And Denny's, at least in my part of the country, they make their ranch from scratch, and it's pretty solid ranch. But you never know what you're gonna get. You know, you might get some kind of craft ranch out of a jug. That's what they bring out there. You don't know what it's gonna be. It's nasty shit, dude. Nasty shit. I'm not cool with that. I worked at a hotel for about 5 years, and it was, when I first started there, they had a really good executive chef, and his menu was, I would describe it as potentially intimidating. Like the average American would probably not recognize, I don't know what percentage, but a fair percentage of the ingredients and or items on the menu. So it was kind of an intimidating menu for, you know, the average person, right? You know? But his shit was really good, man. Like, outstanding, out-freaking standing. Now, by the time I left there, you know, this other guy had taken over the executive chef role, and he just absolutely just steamrolled that place into the freaking sewer. It's just such a travesty. Like that place, before I started working there, I didn't realize this, but they used to make their pasta from scratch. All their pasta they made from scratch. They're in-house. That was before I worked there, but that's how far they fell. A place that makes their own pasta from scratch to the way it was when freaking Keith took that place over and fucking ruined it. excuse my language, but man, he destroyed that place. It was just such a shame. And it's kind of not, I mean, it was obviously his fault because, I mean, he knew what he was doing. But the incentive system that was in place was incentivizing him to ruin the place. So basically, what he was doing is he was using inferior ingredients to make the food, and then he raised the prices. So like all that he was ever really gauged on was the P&Ls, you know what I mean? So if his P&Ls kept on kicking ass, you know, it's going to take probably a couple of years before it catches up to him, because it was a convention center, like a 300-room convention center, and they had big ballrooms and stuff. Like it was a pretty big place, and I mean, not like, you know, massive, biggest hotel ever, but you know, for the region, a pretty decent sized place. And so, you know, if you have this one group that comes, you know, in August every year, and they have a one-off one year, they're not, you know, they've been going there for 10 or 15 or 20 years. In 1 year, it's kind of like, the food wasn't as good this year. You know, they're probably going to come back next year. But if it's like, the food really wasn't that good the last 2 years, you know, they'll probably give you a third try because they've been there for 15 or 20 years. But by the third year, if the shit is like, hey, you know what? This is our third year in a row, and you guys just aren't what you used to be, you know, then they're going to reconsider coming back there the fourth year after that. You know what I'm saying? So it was over a number of years that he was running the place into the dumpster. So it wasn't just the banquet side. It was so I ran the front of house for the restaurant side, and he ran the back of house for the banquet side and the restaurant side. I didn't deal too much. There was a separate manager for the front of house staff for the banquet side. I mean, we all kind of worked together on stuff and everything, but Keith was the department head in charge of the back of house staff for both the restaurant and the banquet side. But man, he just totally wrecked that place. It's just such a sad, sad story. Because that place was one of the best secrets in the region, man. When I first started working there, they had they made a rack of pork every night. They had beef tenderloin. They made prime rib, I think, every week. I don't remember what day it was. Or maybe it wasn't every week, but it was like, you know, multiple times a month, I do believe. I don't really... Yeah, absolutely it was. Because the Philly sandwich that they served they made a prime rib every night. That's what it was. They made a prime rib every night. They made a rack of pork every night. They had a beef tenderloin. It was one of the steaks. I don't remember what the other steak was. Maybe a New York strip. They didn't have a ribeye. They had that beef tenderloin, though, and that was freaking awesome. It was cut off of the loin to order. So it's not like they had these things like prepackaged. They just had one big ass loin, and then, you know, they had like 3 different sizes that you could order. And so they would just cut it at that time to your specific request for how you know, what size you wanted, how you wanted it done, all that stuff, right? And so, like, for example, whatever of the prime rib didn't sell that night would then, so that was one of the nice things, everything was tiered out, right? So like if you ordered a Philly sandwich, the beef on your Philly was last night's prime rib. So you're getting a prime rib sandwich, man, which is freaking awesome. The beef tips. So there was like a beef tips was one of the items on the menu, and that was prime rib. And even the vegetable beef soup was freaking prime rib. So like, it was good food, really good food. And after Jesse left, that place just went straight into. I mean, it didn't happen overnight, you know. Keith, it took him 3 years to just really wreck the place. But one of the first things he did that was, you know, a sign of things to come. See, they used to make their own ranch from scratch out of buttermilk and, you know, seasonings and all this other stuff that they made the ranch out of, right? Well, he stopped doing that because there was one time where somebody made a mistake, and so he got his ass chewed for it. And so he didn't like getting his ass chewed for it. So his solution was, well, we're not going to make our own ranch anymore. We'll just buy freaking Kraft Ranch. That'll solve the problem. I mean, he couldn't just go like, well, let's maybe buy, you know, a real high-end pre-made ranch. Let's just go straight to Kraft. It's like, oh my word, dude. Anyway. Part of it was, one, he wasn't going to get his ass chewed anymore because, you know, it was pre-made shit, right? It's not like somebody could make a mistake when they're preparing it. It comes out of a plastic jug. It's shit. What am I doing here? But it tastes like ass. But, you know, it didn't hurt his P&Ls. His P&Ls looked good. That was one thing he was really good at. His P&Ls almost always looked good. And he just incrementally changed the menu over about a 3-year window so that the place went from one of the places to get a meal in the region to somewhere that you just didn't want to go at all. By the time I left, there was very little on the menu that I would even want to consume. They had good caramel rolls. Those never changed, but he never had. There was this old lady who used to work in the bakery there. Yeah, they had their own bakery. And she made these caramel rolls, and they were freaking awesome. So, you know, that aspect of things, I don't think anything that, I think her name is Kathy, anything that Kathy made, he just kind of left alone because she'd been there for like 25, 30 years. And you're probably not going to be able to tell some old lady who's been there for 3 decades what to do. She's probably going to put you in a food processor if you even set foot in her area without permission, let alone try to tell her how to do her job. Good luck with that. Anyway, she was really nice. Like, I never had any problem with her at all. She was a very nice lady. But I wasn't going down there trying to tell her what to do either. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was her domain. And she was really good at what she did. But those caramel rolls were awesome. But yeah, I mean, nothing. I can't even think of one thing at the end that was on that original menu. Oh no, the side salad. I mean, he probably got shittier croutons and shittier salad dressing, but the side salad, you know, is if you can't make I mean, it's pretty difficult to wreck a side salad. I mean, you can do it if you really want to. I'm sure you could do it, but the side salad was all right. And to be fair, probably not every idea he had was totally, completely destructive. There was like 1 or 2 of the soups that they had that was pretty good under Keith. There was one that a lot of people liked that I wasn't a big fan of personally, but it was a fan favorite there. He had a chicken tortilla soup that people really liked. It wasn't the butternut squash bisque that we sold before Keith was there, I'll tell you that. The butternut squash bisque was freaking awesome. It was basic, but it was really good. And it was made from scratch out of butternut squash. There was another bisque that we had too. I don't remember what it was. That was like your two options. They had it. Oh, it was some kind of mushroom soup. It was a cream-based mushroom soup, but it wasn't like super rich. You know what I mean? Like that's like one of the problems that people have when they make a cream-based soup is that it's like you're like drinking a bottle of half and half straight, and it's like ugh. You know, I put half and half in my coffee, but if I were to try and put half and half on like breakfast cereal or something, that would be like too much, man. That would not be good, I don't think. It's just too rich. I mean, it works really, really good for cutting coffee, but just drinking a glass of freaking half and half, ugh, no thank you. That is not for me. And a lot of times when people have a cream-based soup, you know, especially even if people do make it from scratch, they overdo it on the cream. Like there's a fine line there that you have to toe, because you don't want it to be too watered down, but then you don't want it to be too rich. So, you know, it's like salt, you know. If there's not enough salt, it's missing something. But if there's too much salt, you can't even eat that shit. So there's a fine line with salt, and there's a fine line with cream. I would say those are fair comparisons. Anyway, I came to learn quite a lot about food when I worked there, when Jesse was still there. He was a good guy. He wasn't super dedicated to, you know, to the company.
I'm good, yeah?
But he was dedicated to his craft, you know what I mean? Like he took a lot of pride in, you know, what his menu looked like, and you know, he did a really good job. But somebody offered him more money. It's kind of weird. He went to go work for like an old folks home, like making their meals, which is great because now you got old people living in an old folks home that are being fed like awesome food. And I can't think of a much more noble cause than that, you know, especially for like a chef. You know, like you got these people who, you know, they don't have a whole lot going for them, you know. They're probably in pain most of the time, and obviously they don't have a lot of money because they're in an old folks home, and they probably don't get to see their family very much, and it's probably a pretty miserable existence. But at least they got to eat Jesse's cooking every single day. And that was probably the highlight, or one of the highlights of their day, because dude, that guy knew how to make good food. Absolutely, that guy knew how to make good food. Really good food. He knew what he was doing. He had this gorgonzola cream sauce that they made from scratch there. They would put it on like chicken sandwiches and shit. Oh man, that's another thing. Their chicken, what they would do is they stuff a chicken with like onions and carrots and I don't remember what all they put in, there's celery. And that's how they would cook it. They would just stuff the chicken with all these vegetables, and then they would cook it in a convection oven. And so then when they would serve it, they would just cut off of the chicken. So you get this like super juicy, flavorful chicken. And so there were a number of dishes that would take chicken, but they would just, you know, basically carve the chicken whenever the order was placed for the meal. So it was just like super awesome. But they had these sandwiches that they would make. They weren't all like, you know, entrees. They made sandwiches out of that chicken too. And there was one in particular that I remember that had a gorgonzola cream sauce. I don't like blue cheese. It's not my thing. But I tell you what, man, this gorgonzola cream sauce was freaking awesome. And I don't like blue cheese. So you're talking to a guy who doesn't like blue cheese, and he's telling you that this gorgonzola cream sauce was like out of this world good. So, I mean, that says a lot, you know. That would be like my ex-wife telling somebody about like how awesome some kind of mushroom dish is, because she hates freaking mushrooms. She wouldn't even eat mushrooms, like, which I thought was kind of crazy, but whatever. Like, I could have made a dish that had mushrooms in it and not told her that there were mushrooms in it, and she probably would have liked it. But then after she ate it, if I told her that there were mushrooms in it, she'd probably like want to kill me. So she was weird like that, but anyway, mushroom. Yeah, if there was something out there that that, you know, me saying gorgonzola cream sauce is good would be like her saying, yeah, I had these fried mushrooms that were the best thing ever, because she would never eat that in a million years. No freaking way. She'd rather starve to death than eat a mushroom. That woman. That's probably not literally true. She's just never been in that situation where she had to either choose death or mushroom. Actually, she would probably just start chewing on her nails and eat her own nails for nutrition before she would eat a mushroom. I'm not even probably. She would chew her nails off and consume them for nutritional purposes before she would consume a mushroom for nutritional purposes. I'm not joking, I'm not exaggerating. That's a fact. She would literally, she might even consider cutting her hair up and eating her own hair for nutritional purposes before she would eat a mushroom. I'm not sure about the hair thing. Can't say for sure. But definitely her fingernails. She would definitely try that first. Before a mushroom. Absolutely. Guaranteed. Without hesitation. I still miss her sometimes. I don't think about her that much anymore. Today would have been our anniversary though, so I guess, you know, I've thought about that a couple of times today. It's been far enough along though where I don't hurt anymore, so, you know, it just is what it is, you know. Like, what good can come of me trying to, I don't know. The divorce was finalized in, I think it was March. I don't really know because I didn't have any part in anything. I just ignored it. I didn't do anything. I literally did nothing. And it just went through on its own. But I think it was finalized in March of 2018. So, you know, we're in July of 2022, so it's been over 4 years. It's been more than 48 months, if you want to look at it that way. If you look at it like a warranty period. Anyway, it's been more than 4 years worth of months since the divorce went final. But to be honest, you know, like, we separated basically in September of 17. The divorce went final in March of 18. I would say I didn't stop hurting. Like, the healing process had not advanced to the point where the pain was gone, where I'd scarred over enough emotionally where I didn't have daily pain. I would say until right around Christmas time of 2019, I suppose. Sometime right around there. And then I wasn't completely healed by then, but it was, you know, maybe I made it a whole day without, you know, having pain, you know, at that point. It was a really hard thing for me to get over.
I'm good, yeah?
I guess you could say I had let go of any hope of reconciliation, and just come to grips with the idea that the only way, you know, it's to the point now where, you know, I don't even know if I would want to try and do that again, you know? Like, when you're younger, you know, you have needs. And as you grow older, those needs become more like wants. Yeah. Only someone who is, you know, probably 40 something would understand what I mean by that. But that drive changes, you know. The things that you want in life are not the same as they were. And it's almost like, so I heard a stand-up set by George Carlin, or maybe it was more than, it was more, well, it was a stand-up set, but it was still, you know how George Carlin is, you know, it's not like a normal comedian, you know, he talks about things that are kind of real. But at the same time, you know, he's being funny and crazy and shit. But he was talking about his drug addiction and alcohol addiction and all the things that he went through. And one of the illustrations that he gave was talking about the pleasure to pain ratio, and how, especially with alcohol and cocaine, I guess he's a bad cocaine addict, but the pleasure to pain ratio is heavily weighted towards the pain relatively quickly into the addiction. Whereas when you first start drinking, you know, the pleasure outweighs the pain considerably, because you can't consume too much alcohol before you get sick, because you're literally consuming poison. But as you become tolerant, your body and mind become tolerant to the poison and actually start to desire the poison, the pleasure to pain ratio shifts quite a bit. And that's kind of what he was talking about. Well, when it comes to women or sex, well, relationships more than sex. I mean, sex is a pleasurable experience. But, the relationship and you know, it's probably different for women, but for men, you know, if you're in a relationship, you're giving and you're giving and you're giving and you're always giving. You know, when you have free time, or what used to be free time, it's her time. You know, and if you guys both have free time, then that means you go probably do some stupid shit she wants to do, or go, you know, visit her family, or, you know, it's you don't have your time, you don't have any free time anymore. You can, especially, and then the people that have kids, we never ended up having kids. Our marriage ended before we had kids, but then when you add kids to the equation, you literally have no more time for yourself. You work yourself to the bone, and whatever time that you have that you're not sleeping or working is either consumed by your kids or by her. And you literally have nothing for yourself anymore. Like that, your pleasure to pain ratio has really fallen out of whack there, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. Now, I guess if you're independently wealthy and you don't have to grind yourself to the dirt to, you know, support your family, then you have a lot more time. And so then it wouldn't be so bad. But if you're not, you know, I guess if you're living in if you have a family, let's say you have a family of 4, right? You have husband, wife, and 2 kids. If your household is living on less than a 6-figure income, that's going to be a difficult life in today's, you know, United States of America. I mean, that's going to be tough. If I make less by myself, I mean, I would say, I guess the way I look at it is $40,000 a year is the misery line for someone who is, I suppose, in their 30s or older. If you make less than, and this is a single man, if you make less than $40,000 a year, you're below the misery line because your life sucks, man. That's a shitty life, and I know. I'm in that life right now. I left a pretty good paying job because I got burnt out, and so now I have to take a job that pays dick. But I didn't have to, I chose to. But it's, you know, it is what it is. I could either continue to burn myself out and collapse and just do massive harm to my body, or I could let that income go. And, you know, I've been blessed that I, you know, have saved up and I have a little bit of a cushion, so it's, you know, maybe I am technically living paycheck to paycheck, but I do actually have, you know, a buffer there, so it doesn't feel like it's that bad, you know, as it could be for other people. But if you don't have that buffer and you were making my income now, I mean, that would be horrifying. That would be absolutely terrible. And that's just one dude. That's not like a guy supporting a family or something. So that's just the way I see it. If you make less than 40 grand a year and you're not in your 20s anymore and you're just one dude, you're living below the misery line. And that's where I live. I mean, if you live in New York or somewhere else, it'd be a lot worse than that. But I'm just saying where I live in the upper Midwest, that's the way I would see it. One dude who's making 60 grand a year, and I guess I'm talking about like after taxes, 40 grand a year. You know, I'm not talking about like pre-tax, because who cares about that shit? You don't see that money, man. So, like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess $20 an hour or $40,000 a year. That's like the misery line right around there. If you make more than 40 grand, you're kind of getting hit a little bit. And this is just one guy, mind you, just one dude, not a family. You're kind of getting ahead a little bit. You feel like, hey, you know, maybe I can save a little money. Hey, you know, maybe if I want to go out to eat after work today, I don't have to like say, is that in the budget? You know, it's in the budget if you want to go out to eat. So long as you're not going out and spending $150 every night, you know, you're fine. You can go get that steak dinner if you want tonight. You're okay with that, you know. That's fine. You know, if you feel like doing that, you've earned it. Go get that steak dinner. You know, just don't do it every night, or the steak won't taste so good anymore. If you're making like 60 grand a year, and this is one person, by the way, at that point, you know, you can probably afford to pay a mortgage. You probably have been able to save up a little bit of money if you've been doing it for a few years and you're making 60 grand a year. You probably saved up enough money to put down a down payment, like 20% down payment on a house, which means you don't have to pay all that extra bullshit life suffocating mortgage tax. So you can put your 20% cash down and you can start, you know, investing in your future by owning a home and still have enough money to left over to, you know, have a reasonably, you know, not miserable life. Once you get up to like over 60 grand a year, and this is like after taxes, right? So once your after tax number is over $60,000 a year, you're doing okay, man. Things are not bad. You can probably go buy a car with cash whenever you feel like it. If you want to go buy a boat with cash, you can probably do that. So long as you're managing your finances relatively well, you should have cash in the bank. And, you know, if you got to go pay a dentist bill, it's not a big deal. You got the money for it. If you got to get new suspension in your car, it's not a big deal. You got money for it. Once you get over 6 figures and you're a single dude, your life is good. You're good, because that means every 10 years you're making $1 million. That means you're paying off a $250,000 house pretty quick. You can buy a $250,000 house and probably pay that shit off in like 5 years. Because it's just you, right? I mean, you can be throwing, I don't know, $2,000 a month at that house payment easy. Or more. I guess if you're paying $2,500 a month towards your house payment, that's $25,000 plus, that's $30,000 a year. $30,000 a year, so after 3 years, that's 90 grand. After 6 years, that's 180 grand. Yeah, anyway, either way, in under 10 years, you're paying that house off. And so what would normally take somebody a 30-year mortgage, you're doing in under 10 years. And so once you get your house paid off, and you're probably making more than 6 figures because you're getting cost of living raises and stuff like that, then, you know, life is kind of on cruise control at that point. But probably most people who make that kind of money, by the time they're 40, they probably are married and are fathering children. And they're just looking at, okay, so I got 20 years left at this job if I want to keep doing it. You know, maybe I can send my kids to a really good school. Stuff like that. Try to set your kids up for the best possible future you can. You know, you can retire at 55, 60 if you want, and then just cruise control the rest of your life. But if you're not making 6 figures and you're trying to do that, you know, on $50,000 a year instead of $100,000 a year, you know, your grind is twice as long. You get half as far. And if you're under 40,000, dude, it's not happening, man. You got to make more than that, or you're gonna end up. And this is just one dude. I'm not talking about supporting a family. If you're making under 40 grand and you never make more than that, you never make 40 grand your whole life, You can maybe buy a house, you know, maybe. Probably have to have a 40-year mortgage. And that's a tough spot, you know. If a guy has a house paid for, like he owns his house outright, it's paid for, the bank does not own it, he owns it. By the time he's 60, and has at least, you know, some money tucked away, he's in a pretty solid spot, because even if, you know, push comes to shove, if you own your own house, your monthly bills are literally, by the time you're like 65, your monthly bills are literally your house insurance, your property insurance, and your utilities, and whatever it takes to feed yourself. That's it. That's your monthly bills right there. And once you hit 65, you qualify for Social Security, which should be paying for your utilities, and it should be paying for your food. So, I mean, you're at least not in a terrible spot if you own your own home by the time you're 60 years old. Like, own it outright. You don't have to pay any mortgage payments by the time you're 60. If you're able to manage that, you know, things could be a whole lot worse. At least then you get to retire in your own home. And then you're fine. You know, you can kind of do what you want. Maybe you don't get to travel the world. Maybe you don't get to do that, but, you know, at least you have your own house. Kind of can live at your own, whatever you want to do. Maybe you can't go do a lot of things that other people can do, but at least, you know, things could be a lot worse. But your prime earning years are going to be basically between 45 and 65. Those are the years that you statistically should be making the most income of your life. Should be, doesn't mean you will be, but that's on average. Those are the years. So even if a guy's, you know, kind of behind the 8 ball when he's in his mid-30s, still behind the 8 ball. If you can have no debt, like let's say you're renting, right? You're renting an apartment, you're renting a house, whatever, right? But you don't have any debt. You own whatever vehicles you have. You don't have any credit card debt. You don't have any student loan debt, and you're in your early 40s. You're ahead of the game, honestly, because most people aren't in that situation. Most people have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt in this country. So if you can be debt-free, that's the goal. If you can be debt-free, get there. Just whittle it away, whittle it away, whittle it away. Once you get yourself debt-free, you don't owe the credit card companies any money. You don't owe the student loan people any money. You don't owe anybody money for a car. You have no debt. That's key. Once you reach that spot, I mean, you can just go ahead at that point and anybody will give you a first time. If so long as you have a decent job, somebody will give you a first-time home loan or first-time home loan. I would recommend probably not doing that right away. My recommendation would be save. Again, now that you're not paying off debt, take that money that you were using to pay off your debt, put it into a savings account. Once you have enough money in that savings account, or you could invest it in the stock market if you think you feel comfortable that you're not going to lose that money, or you can put it in a CD or whatever you think is wise, but keep on socking away that money you used to use to pay debt. And once you get enough money in your bank account where you can put down 20% of the sale price of a home down, that's the time to go get your first mortgage. Because putting down 20% cash money on a loan will save you tens of thousands of dollars in the long run.
Enough.
Don't listen to the realtor. They're gonna fill you full of shit because they make money when they sell you that house. They're gonna tell you, oh, it's not that much. You're just saving like 20 bucks a month. Don't worry about it. It's not true, because there's compound interest at play there. And if you have ever had a credit card debt or you've ever had student loan debt, you know that compound interest is like the scourge of hell. So if you can avoid... Oh, he didn't die. So if you can avoid having to pay down that like mortgage insurance, if you can save up that 20%, now that might seem like a lot of money, but you know, if you look at, you know, at one point you probably had $40,000 in debt, whether it was student loan debt or credit card debt or car loan debt or whatever you had, you paid that off, right? So instead of looking at it like you're just paying off debt to yourself, okay? So that when you apply for that loan, you get a better interest rate, hopefully, and you don't have to pay all of that extra mortgage insurance. That will save you tens of thousands of dollars in the long run, because most people are going to pay a 20 or 30 year mortgage, you know what I'm saying? So over 20 or 30 years, that money adds up a lot, and you're far better off. I mean, it kind of comes out in the wash sometimes, depending on what you have to pay for rent, you know, because that rent is just money that, you know, you have to eat. So you could run the math on that and figure out, okay, well, if I include rent in this, you know, maybe I'm better off just, you know, eating that mortgage insurance. But you'll have to figure that out for yourself. Everybody's got a different situation. If you live in a really small community, you're probably better off renting and then just buying a house, because you can buy a house for a lot less money if you live in a rural community than if you live somewhere that has, oh, I don't know, like, you know, I don't know what the smallest community has to be for a place like Walmart to open a business there. But I would say that if there is a Walmart in your community, then anything smaller than that community that you live in, you're probably better off. Or even you know, if there's only one Walmart in your community, like I don't know, that's kind of pushing it. You know, if there's a Walmart in your community, the property prices are probably higher than they ought to be, and you might be better off just biting the bullet and taking on that mortgage insurance. You know, you'll have to figure that out for yourself. There's no straight answer to that. It varies quite a lot based on where you live, property values where you live, all that kind of stuff. Where I live, property values are way higher than they should be for a number of reasons, but because of that, it's kind of prohibitive
How are we supposed to cross that?
for a lot of people to, you know,
See
be able
the
to
lightning
put
rod
down that
towers?
20%.
The lightning is drawn to
There's a
them.
decent house around here, and I don't mean like a nice house. I mean
Not too
a place
near
that's
and
not
too
a
far from
rickety
the
old
tower.
shack. You're
Maybe
going to be
we
hard
should
pressed to
avoid
get something
wide
that's
open
decent
areas.
around here for less than $200,000.
I think I forgot something in Guado Salam.
Nice knowing you.
But that's just in the last few years, you
Okay, I'll
know.
go.
20 years ago, you could have got that same house for 50 grand. Maybe 70 grand. But that's how much things have changed here. What would have gone for 50 to 70 grand 20 years ago and now goes for $200,000, $180,000. But our market is all screwed up here. There's oil around here, so when that happened, that just jacked the price of everything sky high. So the problem with that is that there was this big increase, right? So a lot of people got into houses that, because everything bubbled up around here, people got loans for houses, right? Well, those loans are what they are, and they can't get out of them. They're stuck with it. It's just like buying a bad stock. You can't sell it when it's lost half its value. You're better off just holding on to it and hoping it goes back up again. So these people, so what that has done is it artificially increases the property values around here. So those people, okay, so property values would go down if none of the people if all the people in the community had bought their houses before that bubble, then property values could go down and people would still be making a profit when they sold it, right? But that's not the case because so many people have bought houses around here at inflated prices. So in order for them to get out of that property, they'd have to take a substantial loss. And people won't do that. They'll just keep on paying off their mortgage and hoping property values continue to rise. And then when they do rise, because property almost always does go up, then they're betting on that they will come out ahead if enough time goes by. But in the meantime, property values stagnate at an absurdly high rate because they can't go down, because the only people that can sell their property for less than the going market are people that bought their houses a long time ago and are still making a huge profit margin off the sale. But because the market for their house is so high, they don't have any incentive to lower it very much below the market value unless they're in an extremely high hurry to sell. At which point they'll sell the house in like the first week it goes on the market. So it's all just screwed up here. But if you don't mind commuting an hour and a half, you know, then you can get a house for a pretty decent price. If you want to live in a place that, you know, has 1 or 2 gas stations and everything shuts down at 7 p.m. But not a lot of people want to live in that kind of a community. Especially not... Well, I guess, you know, if there's a school district that's okay there, you know, then small families might be okay with living there and raising their kids in a small town like that. But then dad has to drive 150 miles every day both ways. And with gas prices what they are now, he's probably better off getting an apartment in town. Which then kind of, it's a wash, right? Why are you going to pay for rent in an apartment in town and a mortgage, you know, 150 miles away? Maybe not 150 miles, but an hour and a half away, right? So 100 miles away, whatever. Hour and a half away. Far enough away where it sucks.
Please don't make it rumble.
All right, well, we are at the first place where we're gonna, oh, we got Musk, baby. We're gonna run into level 2 magic here. So we're gonna have to be kind of careful. And we can probably easily die here. And I might have to rely more on summons. I'm not sure yet how this is gonna go. The stuff we need to be really most concerned about is the elements, because they have high magic defense and high magic attack. And when that shit happens, then we have to bring in Yuna. Because it's bad news, man. Did I give him water? I'm not sure that I did. Also, I kind of want to steal from Cactuars here, or whatever. I want to steal haste, the ability to haste my party from monsters here. And we're not really that strong yet, so I'm not sure. Okay, so I have water. But I don't have water too. Oh, he does 900 with just straight water? Okay. Well, we can do that now. All right. Give me a minute here. I'm gonna take a very short break. I'll be right back. All right. I had to use the restroom and throw a little laundry in the dryer real quick. So, what I'd like to do here is steal items that let me learn haste. Dude, look at this shit. Just decimating me. I don't even get to go.
What a mess.
Well, that's our third death of the whole run. That's pretty good. I mean, how many hours into this are we? Let's see. 20 hours in, and we have got our, that's our third death. That's pretty solid. Especially considering we kind of got screwed there. Like, we didn't even get to go. 2 of our deaths, 2 of our 3 deaths have occurred on situations where we didn't even get to go. This is just a really, oh man, wrong guy. Oh wow, he hit him? Wow, whatever. I guess if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, but I would just, that blows my mind that he's able to land blows against that class of monster. He's just so slow. Oh wait, no. I want to press this button, right? There we go. And now we get to fight one of you. And we get to steal from you. Oh wait, no, that just means that I can now encounter one of them. Not that I will fight one immediately, but I can encounter one of them in battle now. I do believe that's how it works. All right, steal from you. Oh man, this is bad.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter, does it? Yeah, that's the expectation. Okay, so I guess that's how it's gonna be. I wonder, how do you teach Aeons to steal? Oh, that's like the worst thing that could happen, man. Dude. We need to get him confused proof, stone proof. I don't know where I can get multiple slot weapon. All right, let's see here. What can we do? No, we have to do this. Well, I guess no, we're not going to do that. We're going to save her for absolute necessary. We'll try this first. Oh, awesome. Okay, kick ass. All right, so let's go ahead and... Well, this guy can attack everyone, so I think we have to get rid of him first. At least there's a chance that we don't die, or like one of our party doesn't die from the thunder guy. What the hell, now he's missing? Okay, so now we're in a bad spot. And we're just gonna go ahead and bring in a summon. It's about the only thing I can do here. I mean, if it goes sideways that fast, like, I'm kind of stuck. Fortunately, the Aeons are strong enough to one-shot these ass clowns. Alright, what do we got for potions? 64, okay, that's good. And then what was I gonna check now? Well, let's check their overdrives. Shit. Yeah, Comrade is the way to go. Comrade. 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 Okay, so there's that, and then equipment, confuse ward, magic defense, a stone ward. Hey, that's pretty good. Let's see here, what can we put this lucid armlet? What can we do with that? We probably should have stone proof. We do. Okay. Yeah, I think I probably should put that on there. And then what? What else? What else do I give him is the question. Automed? Dude. Oh man. Should I do that already? Should I give him an automed? Nah, because then he'll just be using remedies all the time. For shit that we don't need to be worried about. Stoneproof though, I think we're gonna do that. Confuse ward. We're not gonna have confused proof for a while. What do we got here? How far away are we from that? Yeah, we're miles and miles. I think you need like 48 or 32, something like that. We are miles away from confused proof, and confused ward is gonna have to. It's just gonna have to do. question is, do I use, you know, Stone Ward with Confused Ward, or do I just go bite the bullet, use the, you know, Stone Proof now, and get more? I mean, getting 20 Petrify Grenades isn't that bad. I think probably that's for the best, because we need him up and going. We absolutely need him up and going. We can't have him turn to stone, and like that can't happen. So now what I'm kind of, you know, I don't really want to do that. It would give us 1 out of 4 elements against Seymour Anus. And so the question is, do we try to just give him more hit points? What is 10? What is hit points 10%? Probably something really expensive. I think we'll just leave that third slot open for now. I think that's what we're gonna do. And what can we do for Rikku? We've got to get her more hit points. That's just all there is to it. She's got MP. You know what? But we should be able to buy something reasonable for her before too much longer. I'm gonna hold off on trying to build anything. What do we got for Aaron? Probably, well, that's pretty solid, but what else do we got? Berserk Ward, what did I have on him now? Confuse and Poison Ward? Well, Berserk Ward isn't that big of a deal, because he's just typically attacking anyway, so, I mean, you got 2 open slots. Who cares about Silence Ward, really? It's too bad that that's what's on there. Okay, so if we put something on here, what are we gonna put on? Oh no, we're not. What are we gonna? I think Confused is probably for the best, because he'll just kill us all if he becomes confused. I mean, we're dead. All right. Well, I think that's probably okay.
Needles! I hate needles!
There we go. There's 1 haste on 1 character. I can buy Phoenix Down. I can't buy a haste item.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
I wonder if you can sleep this guy. Yeah, probably, but he's just gonna dodge everything. Yeah, well, that's to be expected. But hey, we can put haste on 1 character 1 time now. That is a game changer. We can haste somebody once. That's a big deal. That is a really big deal. I'm pretty pumped about it. Now we need to get to a save point. Yep. Alright.
Yeah.
Of course he's immune. Why wouldn't he be immune? I don't want to lose that haste. That one time, one character haste. Alright, let's just go ahead and kill you. Don't threaten me with a good time. Oh, look at that. Okay, that is pretty fantastic. That is just an absolute monster item right there. We really need to get to a save point. Because pretty soon here we're gonna have 2 lightning immune people.
Good day.
Hi there.
Dude, that's huge.
I heard that Maester Seymour and Lady Yuna are to be wed. It's such great news.
I don't think
have
I've
to tell
ever
everyone.
gotten
Where'd you hear that?
a drop like that
From the
before.
grotto. They were all
Around
very
these
excited.
parts.
Huh. I'm afraid you heard a little wrong. Yuna's gonna turn him down.
Oh, really? Hey, it will not do to joke about a thing like that.
If only Rikku could get that lightning proof item. That would be great. Oh, come on, man! Paying dividends. I can't believe we pulled that drop. That's like, I don't even know what the odds would be that that would be a drop that we could get there. I mean, Titus gets a shield with one open slot that's just lying on the ground. But a lightning proof with 2 open slots for Aaron after he already got that sleep strike weapon. I mean, dude, we've really had some really good fortune fall our way. Plus, on top of that, we've had 3 deaths this whole run, 2 of which we didn't even get to go, and the first of which was just a random happenstance that occurred because I was dumb and made a mistake against Chocobo Eater, so we fell down to the bottom and were ill-prepared for what we were dealing with down there. So honestly, that's almost like 1 death. Because 2 of them, we couldn't do nothing about it. It was just random bad luck that we didn't even get to go. And that's only happened twice. I have to say, all things considered, this has really gone quite well. All things considered. If we could get a lightning proof gear for Rikku, dude. We need to get to a save point. Oh, it's only 1,000 needles? Okay. Is that 2 or just the first one? It must be the second one. We need to get to a save point. That's all there is to it. We desperately need to get... There's Rin's right up there. Okay, let's go with that guy. And then let's go kill him. We got a 33% chance that they attack Aaron. Oh, now a 50% chance. But I think it's probably best if we just bring in our summon at this point. And just don't take any chances. We need to get it to a save point. We have to get to a save point. Oh, dude, that is huge. Okay, probably I should put sensor on this, so we know how many hit points things have. It's just nothing really we're just gonna hold off. That's an awesome weapon for later, but this early in the game to get a 3 slot like that, that's a pretty big deal. Is she out of magic? She is. Okay. We have to get to a save point.
Whoa!
Stop.
Yes.
I just want to get to that save point as fast as humanly possible. We're so close. I just want to save, and then after that,
Hey, whoa!
I want to go home. I hate lightning. I hate thunder. Let's go.
yeah, I hate lightning too. She sucks.
This
She's
storm never
garbage.
I know.
Straight trash, that one.
Pretty please.
I'm a little tired. Do you have a room?
Ah, lady.
Thank you.
It's not like.
Okay, alright. I was just worried something terrible was gonna happen, and then I wouldn't get my save, and then I would just be devastated because I had gotten so much good on that run there. Shouldn't Rin be here?
Pretty please. Just a few minutes.
Where is Rin? Actually, I think I'm gonna buy this and give it to her. It gives her hit points and some lightning resistance. She really needs that. She's just got such low hit points. Why is Rin not... I want to go ahead and buy that, make that weapon for him now. If I have an opportunity, I want to make that weapon for him. Let's see what he has. Distill speed, silence touch. I guess we could just put it on this and get it over with. Poison touch. How many freaking antidotes is it? Freaking 99. Well, there we go. Razmats. Well, hey, we had a poison touch weapon now, and we have slow touch, so that's kind of what I was going for there as far as for that Zoobird. I thought that was a really big deal to have. I want a poison strike, but I think getting those poison fangs before we get to home is probably, or before we get to the desert is probably not a realistic expectation. And then what else is there for customization? Okay. Okay, raises party's chance for a preemptive strike. Oh yeah, we're not gonna. I don't want to waste my chocobo feathers on that right now. No, we're gonna get a first strike before long. We don't need element strike right now. Okay, so eye drops is dark touch. Smoke bombs is dark strike. That would actually not be a bad weapon to have. Dark strike. That could really be useful. Because it should land on just about anybody that is susceptible to it. And we could double it up like we did with Petrify with dark touch and dark strike. Silence, I don't know if that would be a big deal or not. I mean, it will be later for sure. But we can make it out of echo screens at our leisure. Then silence grenades, we don't have those at the time. Sleep, we have sleep strike. We can't even make sleep strike. That's just huge, at least not yet. We have that, we can't make the 4. I mean, it's like 25 or 30 or 40 to make that shit. I just don't think I'm gonna get there. Stone touch, we've already made our stone petrify weapon. I don't think I'll make another one. Wow, slow touch of silver hourglasses. How many is it? And then distill. What do we don't really need those. Strength +3. Magic +3. What about strength +5? Strength +10. Actually, strength +5 is a pretty late game item. Strength +10, I don't remember what it is. Strength +20, we won't get. That's like Monster Arena caliber shit there, the strength +20. I don't remember who has it, but it's Monster Arena stuff. I don't even think you can get that from the Omega Ruins. You might be able to get a drop with a +20 from the Omega Ruins. Maybe. Probably not, though. But maybe. Strength plus 10. I don't remember. Well, you can get weapons with strength plus 10. I don't remember what the item is though. But you can get it at Mount Gagazet. You can just buy them. Well, we don't really need that right now. What we need right now is defense. We can make lightning proof. I should have just made a weapon for Rikku, or a lightning proof for Rikku, honestly. Why not? Actually, what I should do is make an element proof item for each individual, like for like the 3 main people that I would probably be using most of the time. So that way when Seymour Anus is being full anal, then we can at least survive whatever he throws at us. The party won't die from elementals because, well, there's always that chance, you know, because there's 4 elements, so there's the chance that he would use, you know, the 4th element. But we could make a piece of armor that was resistant to 2 different elements for someone. That's probably going to end up being how we have to do that. Electric being probably the easiest so far, is what it looks like. So we can make a lightning proof. I don't know, I'm kind of tempted to make Rikku a lightning proof weapon or armor. That would kind of be huge. But we've already got lightning proof for Arn. We're going to have lightning proof for Titus very shortly. Actually, lightning is probably the best way to go, to be honest, because the late game stuff uses lightning elemental, like Inside Sin and stuff like that. Lightning is the one you do run into. That's the main late game element. Even on Mount Gagazet, there's lightning. I think that's probably actually the best bet. Let's see here. Well, we've got lightning proof for Aaron. We got lightning proof for Titus any minute now. We've got... Let's get out of here. We bought this, or no, we bought this. So we don't really have anything that great to work with for Rikku. But it's something. We do have that to work with, but we don't have anything worth making right now. We have, like I said, we have a lightning proof for Aaron. And we're going to have lightning proof for Titus in just a short moment. We can make... Let's see here. What do we got? We could put lightning proof on this. It's not that hard to get more stone proof stuff. So if I have to make more stone proof stuff, that's not really that big of a deal. And that way we would have the potential of having 3 people out on the field that were immune to lightning. And at the end of the game, that would be nice to have. And right now, it would pretty much make us... I mean, we could just sit here and farm the shit out of these ass masters, because Waka can just kill people at one shot, pretty much everything here except for the lightning elemental. And they just wouldn't be able to do any damage to us. I guess I guess I should probably, if I was... Maybe we can get a good drop. Let's see here. Do I go ahead and just make this for Waka right now? I mean, I can make more stuff later, right? It's not like... The weapon is... I mean... The weapon is the thing that we're not going to get again. But the armor? I mean... We can get more 3-slot weapons or 3-slot armors. We can put Stoneproof on again. That's not a real big deal to get that. And we can farm the shit out of lightning marbles, I guess. But the only problem is we need Rikku to be up stealing. So she would be the best candidate for it. And I'd hate to just give her lightning proof on a 1-slot piece of gear. I don't know. Let's just go ahead.
It's not easy being a guardian to a summoner so young.
Let's just make a save. And... I don't know why Rin doesn't come out. Rin should be coming out like we're... I don't understand why he hasn't shown his face. That's weird to me. He should just be there right away. Well, whatever.
Whoa! Oi!
Yes?
I implore.
Ow. Oh. Well, it's nothing really. I just, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have come in.
Maybe we can get a good drop. See, I don't know who dropped all
Hey.
that shit back there. You know what I'm saying?
Wasn't that
Like,
that?
know what I'm
disco
saying? Know what I'm
bar
saying?
guy?
Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? I don't know. How the hell did I start saying that? I think you sound like a half a retard
sphere is
when you
his
say
will.
that. So I definitely
It says,
don't want
take
to
care of my
make
son.
myself sound like a half a retard, right?
Huh. His son, Seymour? Well, I know one way to take care of him.
I'm sorry.
Huh?
What do you think you're up to?
Yuna was acting funny.
Yeah. She'll tell us when she's ready, so hold your chocobos till then. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know why Rin didn't come say hello. He's supposed to come say hello as soon as you walk in there. But if you walk into the back there, then you kind of forfeit your opportunity to talk to him. But I'm going to guess this because I've already compiled all bed primers, so that's the trigger I'm going to guess. Since I don't have an all bed primer to give me, he just doesn't show up here. That's the only possible thing I can think of for why he wouldn't be here.
It's not stopping.
Whatever.
It's not stopping.
Don't tell me you were hoping it would. Fine.
So the formation that I'm pretty sure that we got those awesome drops.
That,
you know.
was the
You could be
larva
more comforting or
and
something. You know,
one
try to cheer
larva
me up.
and two of the.
Just don't get me at all.
I don't know if
do
they're
you?
imps. I don't know. Maybe they are called
Are you
imps. I don't know.
listening?
They kind of have like a weird, creepy looking mask on their face.
I'm not scared.
And they,
I'm not scared.
I mean, you run into these guys all over the place, man. Like, you run into them on Mount Gagazet, you run into them inside Sin. And there's this guy. And there's our shield. Bang, 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 bang. Alright, let's go ahead and equip that shield now. We lose the hit points, but we gain the immunity. So I think it's worth it. And now, formation. Man, I can't take walkout. See, that's the thing, I'm like handcuffed. If I take Rikku out, I lose the ability to steal, and we can't do that. If I take walkout, we lose the ability to petrify, and I sure as hell don't want to do that. Because then all these battles will take forever, even if we got 2 people going. So I either need a multi-slot armor for Rikku. That's basically what I need. I need a multi-slot armor for Rikku. So I don't feel like I'm wasting that lightning defense just on a 1-slot weapon. I just don't really want to do that. Now, I want to go back here, now that we've got our save point, and if we die, it's not the end of the world. I want to go back over here, because there was something, I think, maybe over here. Maybe another one of those cactuar things. So that sucks. I don't want to be wasting an asshole to Phoenix Downs, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean is a whole lot better than know what I'm saying. Know what I'm saying? 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 I love you, Debo, but stop saying know what I'm saying. I like to watch the football games, and there's a player that plays for the San Francisco 49ers named Debo Samuel. He's like a really, really fun to watch football player. He's really talented, he works hard, he's just at the top of the list of, the game-changing caliber football players in the NFL. And with that said, his favorite thing to say, it seems to me, is know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying. That's what it sounds like. Know what I'm saying. Like a gnome, like a garden gnome. And sane. Not like, instead of saying insane, he just says sane. So, know what I'm saying. 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 Guy sounds like a half a retard every time he says it. It drives me nuts. And now I find myself saying that shit. I don't know how the hell that even happened. But I gotta be really careful, because it sounds terrible. I feel ashamed of myself every time I say it. Like I just lost some of my brain function permanently. Every time I hear myself say, know what I'm saying? I mean, if I'm just talking about it and I'm referencing, know what I'm saying? Like, that's one thing. But if I say it without thinking and it just comes out of my mouth, then I just feel like ashamed and like I should Like I feel like I need to be cleaned off. I feel like I am unclean and I have committed some foul sin against the English language. Know what I'm saying? 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 That sounds like a Norm Macdonald t-shirt. There's like a picture of a gnome and it says "Know what I'm saying" above his head. Maybe I should do that. Like print up a bunch of shirts that has a picture of Norm Macdonald on the front and then a gnome on the back, and above the gnome it says "Know what I'm saying." That's good stuff, man. Hey, if anybody steals my idea, I'm patenting that idea right here. I am trademarking my idea for the Norm Macdonald shirt. It says Norm Macdonald. It's a picture of Norm Macdonald smiling. You know that shit-eating grin of his? Picture of him on the front, and then a picture of a gnome on the back that says "Gnome Sane." Spelt like gnome, like a garden gnome, and then sane, like instead of insane, sane, gnome sane. And then it should have like a picture of Deebo Samuel like on the shoulder. Or like, no, even better, the gnome is wearing a t-shirt with Deebo Samuel on it. There you go. That's it right there. That's like that's it. I gotta make that shit, man. I could become a millionaire just selling that shirt. Anybody with a sense of humor would just fall over laughing to half to death with that shit. I'm a big Norm Macdonald fan, like huge. Like, if you ever get a chance to watch his White House Correspondents' Dinner stand-up that he did. So when Bill Clinton was the president, so this kind of dates me, but when Bill Clinton was the president of the United States, Norm, I don't remember what year it was, but Hillary doesn't look like an old hag yet. So it tells you how long ago it was. She doesn't yet look like an old hag. You know, like, you know that movie, what the hell is the movie? It feels like a Mel Brooks film, but it's not. But it's like the one with, okay, so Dave Chappelle is in it, and the guy from The Princess Bride, Men in Tights, Robin Hood Men in Tights. That's the name of the show, right? It feels like a Mel Brooks film, but it's not. And there's this old hag in that movie. She like lives under a tree or some shit. I don't know. I don't remember the details. But she has this this crush on the sheriff of Rottingham, who's played by some ass clown. I don't remember. He's just an unlikable actor. He's always plays an unlikable character, it seems like, in all his movies and TV shows. But that old hag, like, that reminds me of Hillary Clinton. And during the White House Correspondents' Dinner that Norm Macdonald does, he's the comedian, you know. They hired him to work that room. Anyway, Hillary does not look like an old hag yet, so you know that's quite a long time ago if she hasn't stepped into old hag formation, which, I mean, she kind of looks like that old hag from Robin Hood Men in Tights, honestly. I mean, she's fatter than the old hag from Robin Hood Men in Tights. I mean, Hillary is like a big blob anymore. She's just this massively obese old hag. She's just so foul and nasty. But anyway, Norm Macdonald does a routine in front of all these politicians. Dude, it is priceless. He's got like gigantic balls of fucking iron, dude. He's just savaging these people. It is so good, dude. It is really, really, really good. It's one of the best pieces of stand-up I've ever seen. And half the time the room is laughing, even though he's just non-stop, just burning them all over and over and over again. It's like a roast for all these people in the room. And they're laughing as they're getting roasted by him. And it's just absolutely worth anyone's time. It's just really good. There are a couple of guys in the room that don't think it's funny at all. And they got a look on their face like, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna find out where you live and I'm gonna send people to your house, bro. That's like what the look on their face is. But for the most part, you know, people are laughing and having a good time. But man, that is one of the premier Norm Macdonald pieces in history. I mean, it's so good. It's really good. If you ever get a chance to watch a lot of the stuff, you can find it on YouTube, but he went on the David Letterman show a lot. I never used to watch the David Letterman show when I was younger, but I've seen some of this stuff on YouTube, and it's actually, you know, not bad. Dave himself he's funny, but Norm on that show, actually with any of the, you know, back before late night talk shows became, I mean, they haven't been the most awesome programming ever. They never have been the best programming. But there was a window of time where, you know, when Conan had a show, when Letterman had a show, when Leno had a show, like those guys were, you know, career comedians. They were good. They were funny. And those days are gone. The people they have on there now, I mean, they're just propaganda. That's all that it is. It's like, it's terrible, you know? Like, I don't really watch a whole lot of television anyway, other than outside of football. Like during football season, I watch a lot of football. But so you see ads for these people and stuff like that, or like sometimes on the internet you'll even find, you know, advertisements for like Jimmy Kimmel or whoever the guy is that used to be on the Man Show. Not Corolla, but the other one. He's got a show on ABC. And then the guy that used to be on The Daily Show, I think anyway, he's on one of the networks, probably CBS. CBS is probably the worst. And then they got another guy on CBS that I don't know how he even got a job on SNL. Well, I do know because Saturday Night Live has not been good since, well, really honestly, since the late 90s. Like when they had like Mike Myers, what's the guy whose wife killed him? Phil Hartman, Chris Farley, David Spade, Adam Sandler, Mike Myers, Dana Carvey. Like those guys were actually funny dudes. Norm Macdonald. Those guys were funny dudes, man. But like now, dude, like there hasn't been, I can't think of anybody that's really good that's come out of Saturday Night Live since the 90s. I'm probably forgetting about somebody. There's got to have been somebody that didn't suck that came out of there, but I guess some people like Will Ferrell, but he was still on, he was back in the 90s. That's where he cut his teeth, back in the 90s. I'm not a real big Will Ferrell fan, but some of his stuff is okay. But I don't know, they haven't produced anything but shit for like 2 decades now. It's kind of sad. Like, who's good that's come out of Saturday Night Live in the last 20 years? I mean, is there anybody? Honestly? That can stand on their own, right? I I can't think of a single person, honestly. But anyway, Seth Meyers, that's his name. I guess he used to be on Saturday Night Live. Somehow he got a job on there. Well, I guess because everybody on there sucks now. So, you know, it's not surprising actually that he had a job on there. But he has a program on, I think it's on CBS. And man, it's, you see the ads on television for them, right? If you're watching like a football game or something, they'll run an ad. Like, it seems like their whole entire subject matter for their jokes is Donald Trump, who hasn't been in office for, I don't know, how long has it been now? It feels like it's an eternity, but I guess his last day in office would have been like 2001. Yeah, so it's been like a year and a half now since he's been in office. It's only been a year and a half. It's only been a year and a half. Look what, oh my word, it's only been a year and a half. Anyway, he's still the butt of their jokes. The guy is not, he's not a politician anymore. He doesn't do anything. I haven't even, I mean, he doesn't do anything anymore, right? Like, I hardly hear anything about him. But, like, they're still, like, that's, like, the only material they have. It's like, dude, how pathetic are you if that's the only material you have is a guy that used to be a politician? Like, what in the world, dude? Is there, like, is their writing team so bad that they can't come up with any kind of new material, period? I mean, it's really driving people away, honestly. I mean, I haven't watched that kind of programming for, well, honestly, probably Conan would have been the last time I watched any kind of programming like that. Conan was actually funny. Conan is pretty funny, actually. But, I don't know, when did Conan last have a program? On TBS, on cable or something? He hasn't had a primetime show on a network program since, honestly, since Jay Leno was still on TV. So that's quite a while back now. Oh man, he just got wrecked. See, now we're at the point where we just got to go ahead and bring in, well, we need to steal. Yeah, so now we just have to bring in unit to get this done with. Actually, it's not really fair of me to say that, you know, attacking the same individual unless your only material is, well, not the only material. Norm Macdonald savaged O.J. Simpson for a long time. It's probably why he lost his job. The guy who was technically his boss was a friend of O.J., and I don't think he liked that he was poking fun of him so much. And he was merciless about Bill Clinton. Like, he called him a murderer many, many, many times. And so a lot of people, you know, didn't like that. Especially, you know, the President of the United States, you're calling him a murderer. This is back in the 1990s when media at least tried to at least give the impression. Uh-oh. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing here. They tried to at least give the impression that they were unbiased. I mean, anymore, they don't even care. It doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you're on. Our media in the United States is just shit, dude. It's so bad. Honestly, on my phone, I have my language set to UK English, and a unintended but very welcome consequence to me choosing that option is that because for some reason my phone thinks I must be from the UK because I chose that language, it shows me all of this international news that I wouldn't otherwise get. So I get like news stories that show up from like the BBC, from Sky News, and from all sorts of different news sources from the UK or Australia. And so I like on a weekly basis, I am shown information that the media in the United States tries to hide from us because they don't want us to know that shit. It doesn't fit their narrative. And like I say, it doesn't matter which side of the political aisle you would side on. They both they make a career out of telling lies by using facts. That's the new media, is how, because they're all lawyers, right? Politicians are lawyers, newscasters are lawyers. All these people went to school to become lawyers. I mean, not all of them, but a huge percentage of these people went to school to be lawyers. I mean, and it makes sense because, you know, they're talented at talking. They're talented at being, you know, very eloquent and saying a whole lot of nothing. But at the same time, you know, talking and sounding like they know what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? Ah, there, I did it. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? I'm a half a retard. Know what I'm saying? Anyway, it doesn't matter if you're like the White House press secretary or if you're just some guest on one of the cable news networks. You were probably in law school if you didn't graduate from law school at some point. And then you look at all the people in Congress, these people are all freaking lawyers, man. Or they're just rich, you know, there's that. They were born into money, and so they want power, so they run for political office because there's a lot of power in political office. People think you're important, people treat you better, people treat you different than even just rich people, because you can do stuff for people when you have if you're a freaking US senator, dude, you got power. So I don't know, these people are all corrupt to the core. And our news is so full of shit, dude, it's terrible. But it's kind of cool because I never followed the news until, well, not very closely. And I never really cared about political stuff. You know, I had my opinions on stuff, but I didn't follow it. But then I had this job where I drove around a lot for like about 4 years. I worked for DirecTV. And so I traveled all over, like, you know, driving hundreds of miles daily, you know. And so while I'm in the car or the van, you know, I'm listening to music a lot of times, but sometimes you get tired of listening to music, so you just kind of, you put the news on and try to, you know, find out what's going on in the world. And that was kind of a controversial period in time because Donald Trump was the president, so, you know, the guy just is a lightning rod for controversy. Like him or hate him, he's a lightning rod for controversy. And so, you know, all of those things kind of combined, you know, I found myself paying more attention to politics than I ever had, by a large margin, because I never paid attention to politics, you know? That was just never my thing. You know, like, what the hell can I do about it, right? Even if I know what's going on, I'm just one guy. What the hell am I gonna do? So, like, it didn't seem like it was worth my time. Even if I wanted to learn about like what the goings on was on a day-to-day or week-to-week or month-to-month basis in the political world, what the hell difference can I, what difference can I make? What's the point in getting all worked up about it? Like, I can't do anything about it. Why get stressed out about it? Why even? I mean, the way and I still believe this, if it's a really, really, really big deal, you'll hear about it. Other people will bring it up, You don't have to watch CNN or Fox News or any other cable news network. You don't have to listen to the radio. You don't have to watch, NBC or CBS or ABC News. You don't have to consume these things to find out what's going on in the world. If it's a really, really big deal, you'll hear about it. The war in Ukraine, you're gonna find out about that shit, You'll hear about it if it's a real big deal. I guess that's the way I look at it. You'll hear about it if it's important enough, you'll hear about it. And then if you want to dig deeper, then, you can, but nothing's gonna change whether everything that's going on in the political world or you know nothing about what's going on in the political world. It's not going to change what happens in Washington, D.C. There's still going to be big, gigantic piles of bullshit flowing out of the mouths of all those cocksuckers up in Washington, no matter what I know or don't know. That's... My knowing what's going on has no bearing on these ass clowns and what they're trying to do to us as Americans or this country. So, whatever, what difference does it make? It's just gonna piss me off, regardless of what side of the spectrum I fall on. Learning about what the people in Washington are doing is just gonna serve to piss me off. So, I just haven't really paid much attention to politics. But since I left that job, I'm just rarely in the car anymore. And so when I am in the car, I'm listening to music because I really like the music that I have in my car, and I just don't see any need to listen to anything other than the music. Well, we got an electro marble out of the deal, so that's good. How much hit points does this guy have? We're on that north side of the line. We're gonna run into one of those iron giants here before long. But I think they're susceptible to petrify. The best thing that could happen would be like, that movie, it's not a very good movie, but that Jim Carrey movie called Liar Liar. If all US politicians were held to that restriction, dude, how awesome would that be? That would be so great. If they couldn't lie to us. Dude, imagine like somebody like Nancy Pelosi not being able to lie anymore. Oh, dude. That would be like I can't imagine, man. What would even come out of that old hag's face? Oh, there's another one. Chocobo feather. I'm gonna go save. There's a save point right here. I just got a chocobo feather. I'm saving. I don't think you can get chocobo wings from this guy. That would be awesome if you could, even if it was a rare steal. I mean, I don't know if it would be worth it, because you would have, I mean, potentially you could spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours trying to grind out that steal from this early point in the game. But if you were able to get chocobo wings here, you can make an auto haste weapon, or I mean an auto haste, is it weapon or is it armor? You can make an auto haste armor here. You know, I don't think we're gonna make it. I think that Iron Giant is gonna kill us. Well, wait a minute. No, he won't get to go. So I guess let's steal from him. And I think Light Curtain is the item that allows Rikku to cast Protect. And if I'm right about that, then Light Curtain would also be the item required to add Strength plus 5, is that right? Or is it Strength plus 10? Nah, Strength plus 5. Because that's a late game item. Who's he gonna kill? Nobody? Dude, did we seriously all three survive? That's a first. When's the last time that happened? Rikku always dies. Alright, let's see here. I should go back and save, honestly. Cast Protect on one character. That is so huge. Honestly, I should just sit here and farm the shit out of this north half of this area for a while. Light curtains, lunar curtains. Who do you get lunar curtains from? Oh yeah, from those larvae. Where did we get a stamina tablet? Where the hell did we get a stamina tablet? That's the shit that you steal from freaking Unalesca, bro. Who the hell did we get a stamina tablet from? I didn't even know there was anybody other than Unalesca that you could get those. Who the hell gave us a stamina tablet? Obviously it was a rare steal or a rare drop, but what boss would have had a rare drop of a stamina tablet? You know what? It might have been a monster like back on Besaid Island or something. That's possible. Because you'd never go back there unless you went back there specifically to like farm something. What else could it have been? We haven't fought any bosses for a while. I want to know where I got that stamina tablet. I feel like I got it here, like on the Thunder Plains. Because it's the last item. Well, yeah. Okay. So it would have to have been. Because we just got a light curtain, right? And it's listed after light curtain. Oh, well, but we auto, yeah. We did just auto reset our stuff. But doesn't it come based on the order in which you acquired it? I don't know. Well, not after you auto reset, I guess. What could we possibly have gotten a stamina tablet from? Honestly. From what? Oh, I didn't heal. Okay, we'll be okay. Maybe this guy? No, his rare is a silver hourglass, so it's not him. We got a silver hourglass from him, so it couldn't have been him. Could it have been the larva? Could larva give us a rare steal of stamina tablet? I want to know where I got that stamina tablet, man. Seriously, where the hell did that come from? I literally thought the only place that I could ever get those was from Unalesca. And that's at the way end of the game. And I think it's a rare steal from her. Oh man. You have to press... Yeah, you have to wait till it's glowing. Damn it. Well, let's see here. We fight two of these guys right now. Lunar Curtain. Lunar Curtain. Yeah, we're not gonna. Lunar Curtain. Lunar Curtain. Wow, that's a lot of steals in a row. I'm gonna bring in Ixon. Where the hell did I get that stamina tablet? Maybe it was in a chest somewhere. That's probably a lot more likely than me having stolen it from someone. Because that's a rare steal from Unalesca. You can't tell me that there's some shit this early in the game. Unless it's one of those cactuars. No, it wouldn't be. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Where the hell did I get a stamina tablet? You don't just simply acquire stamina tablets. It doesn't work that way. Oh, come on, man! I got there. There's no chest back here? It sure looks like there should be. Dude, I just want to know, where did I get a stamina tablet? I should have killed the other guy because he's going to use multi-target lightning. Oh, he's not going to. Well, that's awesome. We got lucky. Super lucky. Where the hell did I... It had to have been in the chest. Maybe it's a rare steal from one of those chests that you steal mega potions from. It's Rikku, like when you first get her. I could see that. Like a 5% chance to get a stamp. That just seems like, even that seems kind of unlikely. Highly unlikely. But I would say that getting it from a chest is probably the most likely scenario. There's a save point up there. It can't be the Iron Giant because I hadn't run into one of those yet. Crap! This is no good. I really wanted to steal from him too. Those sons of bitches, it's my own fault because I forgot to heal. Oh man, this is no good at all. That Iron Giant is probably capable of killing my Aeons. Well, what if we do this? Oh, dude, then a whole bunch of people get to go. Oh no, he gets to go again. Okay. Let's just do that. That's fine.
Ooh, I'm back.
Okay, now let's see here. What if I use another Phoenix down? No, that doesn't change anything. Okay, so now what if I bring in Yuna and bring in... Well, he's got the best defense, so let's bring in him. And let's go ahead and kill you. This is dangerous. Let's go ahead and kill you. Hopefully we survive. Okay, good. Good. Now we'll go ahead and dismiss you, and hopefully we survive. And, okay, so now let's go ahead and use a Phoenix down. You son of a bitch. Alright, now let's bring in Aaron.
So be it.
And let's use Power Break. Oh, and you could sleep him too. He's not immune to sleep. You son of a bitch! Man, this one freaking item is really gonna cost me a lot of Phoenix Downs. Alright, now Waka.
Bring it on.
And, yeah, he'll turn him to stone if I try to make him dark. So, let's just go ahead and block, and now let's go ahead and steal. This is an expensive item. And let's go ahead and maybe we can just put him to sleep. There we go. There we go. Now it's less expensive because we're just gonna farm this bitch. Well, maybe not. No, if we don't get steals to land. Really, dude? That's 50-50 there, Rikku. Unbelievable, dude. What a bunch of shit. Alright, let's bring in Titus. Maybe we can slow him. We can. Alright, now let's see if we can put him to sleep again. There we go. Now let's see if we can steal some shit. Alright, now we got 2. I'd really like to get that 3rd steal. 3rd successful steal. Come on, Rikku. Stop sucking. You get 2 more chances, bitch. Then we gotta go. Come on! Well, whatever. We gotta go. I'm not gonna risk it. Still, those were an expensive deal. Hey! That's something. I know she never attacks, but it's something, right? Alright. I'd like to get up to that save point, and I think I'm gonna call it a night. I didn't sleep that well. Wait. We need to get this here. I didn't sleep that well last night, and I gotta get up in the morning again tomorrow, so maybe I can get a good night's sleep tonight. Lord willing. Come on, this incessant lightning. You know, anybody who got Lulu's celestial weapon, you earned that shit, man. I've never done that. I don't have any intention of doing that. If somebody paid me $20,000, I'd try, I suppose, but damn, dude, like, that's a tough road to hoe, man. There we go. Oh, that's right. He's immune to petrify. That's not going to stop them from trying, though, I'll tell you that. They're going to go after him like it's nobody's business. Maybe once you unlock 3 of them, then that's it? Is that right? Because this thing hasn't turned fuzzy yet, and I've been here a while. Maybe that's all you can do is unlock 3, because you can't get more than 3 in a formation anyway. Alright. There we go. Well, if you're gonna be that way, then whatever. I'd like to get more, but we're gonna have to do that when we run into a solo formation. Because I just can't deal with these ass clowns trying to ruin everything. Okay, that's not a very good thing there. Let's just use this guy. We need to get to that save point. You son of a bitch. We gotta do something about Rikku. She's just so susceptible. And the enemies just go after her ruthlessly. I wonder if I put Arn in the middle instead of off, because it seems like they keep on attacking the middle, but I just figured it was Rikku, not, you know, the spot. But maybe it is the spot. Maybe the middle is more susceptible to being targeted. If that's the case, we definitely want Arn in the middle because he's got the hit points. You could try it, it can't hurt anything, right? Not like we're gonna change it out, but just kind of curious. Alright, well, that's something we can build off of there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and save. First off, I just want to say thank you to everyone for your support in any which way, shape, or form that you showed. Thank you for your time, and you know, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.